$60,000 square metres of space,
20,000 people,
1,500 congregations,
500 story tents,
4 stages,
2 days.
1 Lord.
The 3rd and 4th of May in the Royal Highland Centre at Ingleston, Edinburgh, 2008.
Be there. I'm Albert Bogle, the convener of the Church Without Walls Planning Group. You may recall that I've spoken to you over the years about the various events that we've been organising. Remember, way back in 2005, we had over 3,500 people celebrating some of the values of Church Without Walls in the Edinburgh International Conference Centre. And then over the last few years, we've had some amazing conferences up at Aviemore, re-energising the church, and some 400 congregations have been part of that. Now this is the big one. We're moving into Ingleston, and we've taken over Ingleston, and we've got an opportunity to have up to 20,000 people to come together to celebrate all the good things that God is doing in the life of the Church of Scotland, and we want you to be part of it. What do you think of the venue?
Fantastic.
It's huge. There's enough space for 20,000 of your closest friends.
Absolutely.
It's kind of hard to imagine what it's going to look like on the days though.
Right, so I mean, we're going to maybe move around and talk a wee bit about what we can do in this space, but Roddy, you're going to have a prayer tent.
The prayer zone is going to be quite a unique space for everyone. We're going to have 2 different centres. One is going to be space for sitting and reflecting and meditating on what's going on over the weekend. There's also going to be a labyrinth as well, where people can journey and pilgrimage over that time and reflect on their lives and their journey of the church and maybe where they're going in future. But also there'll be different stations as well in that area where people can get their hands mucky with doing prayer activities and reflecting on the church worldwide, because we hope to be able to beam in people from around the world to hear their stories and pray with them all the way through the whole weekend, not just during the day, but when the sun goes down and the moon comes up, then we'll be praying with people in other parts of the world. So that space will be open all the way through the weekend for people to engage, not just with the people around them in this tented city we're going to build, but with people all the way around the world, to know that we are not just a church without walls, we're a world without walls as well. So it's here that it'll happen, and here will be the centre of all of that experience of engaging and joining God's people in prayer.
Right, Jim, what about you? You get some good ideas going for this.
Behind me we have the shed, which is going to be the home for the youth event over the 2 days that take place here. In the shed we're going to have a huge stage with a PA and lights and smoke and bands. We're going to have great teaching. We're going to have prayer and worship that young people of all ages are going to really get into. There's going to be activities right through the weekend. We're going to have a huge bus parked outside with playstations and games and interactive stuff. We're going to have a skate park, skate ramps. We're going to have cage football and basketball and street art and urban dance and DJing. This is going to be the exciting event of the year for young people in church in Scotland. In fact, it may well be the event for the next 5-10 years. It's going to be that good. If you're in a church, if you've got a youth group, if you've got friends of your age who want to come and see something dynamic, then bring them along 3rd and 4th of May here at Ingleston. It's going to be fantastic.
Fantastic. And what about, Pauline, you've got some ideas. You're going to be doing, I believe you're going to be doing a big worship event. It's going to involve all ages.
We're in this big green field at the moment, but if you look behind me through these trees, you'll see the McRobert Theatre here in Ingleston in Edinburgh. And on the 4th of May 2008, I want you to imagine the biggest all-age worship service you've ever seen or ever been to. Maybe 2, maybe 5,000 people, babies, toddlers, preschoolers, teenagers, grannies, grandmas, granddads, everyone together worshipping. Everyone together in a service where there's music, praise bands, drumming, where there's puppets, where there's theatres, where there's drama. everyone together where we live the story of Jesus, where we live the stories that he told his friends, where we have an act together of sharing, of ministering to one another, and something to go home to think about and pray for, and really feel like that worship service didn't just happen here, but something that stays with us and continues with us for the rest of our journey.
One of the key things that we're hanging the whole idea on is the idea of buying a tent. And people say to me, what's all this tent about, Albert? Well, can I make it a simple explanation to you? What we're thinking is, why don't you buy a tent? The tent is a symbol of you as a congregation being willing to be a risk takers, to move out from your building and to be willing to go to a tent and live in a tent if necessary. But it's more than that. It's about a symbol of seeing the church is on the move, the church is able to change. What we're going to do with these tents, well, there's going to be opportunities for congregations who take a tent to have a daily programme where they explain something about the life of their congregation to whoever turns up to hear them at the tent. And there'll be 500 of these tents, so 500 congregations all telling their story. We also want to encourage people to see that once they've told their story, the tents will still remain, but the tents will be a gift and the tents will be given to those who are struggling in the developing countries. We've got 2 relief agencies that are willing to take the tents and use them to help relief work in the developing world. So we think it's a great idea. We think it's a symbol of the church in the move, and we would ask you to come and be part of it.